Hello and welcome to Did You Know Gaming Extra. In this episode we'll be exploring trivia all about Sony's latest home console, the PlayStation 4.
Before we get into the video, however, this episode of Did You Know Gaming is sponsored by Slon Game and their new open-world sci-fi adventure, Second Galaxy. Second Galaxy's open world gives players many roles to choose, from trader, explorer, or even a warlord. In the time we spent in the game, we went on quests to fight pirates, explore, upgrade our ship, and trade. If you choose to take on this adventure, you'll have many options for combat, exploration, trading, and strategy, with whatever role you choose having a critical impact in the game's narrative. The game is set 3,000 years in the future, where humanity has begun colonizing the stars and has formed an empire called the Second Galaxy. The game's universe has 5 regimes, each of which has an ever-changing relationship with each other, and players must form their own allegiances within this dynamic political landscape. Second Galaxy can have 500,000 concurrent online players and handle thousands of players on-screen in real-time combat. You can also team up with other players to form corporations and secure resources, trade, and barter with each other, or engage in enormous space battles. These battles take place all over the game's massive world, which has 50,000 stars across more than 1,000 light-years of space. The game also has 150 classes of spacecraft, and thousands of different upgrades and fixtures for each. Second Galaxy's beta testing version is now available on both iOS and Android devices. Click the Second Galaxy official website link in the description below to register a beta account. And now back to Greg with the trivia.
The PlayStation 4 was released back in 2013, and at the time of this video is nearing 100 million sales worldwide. This places it firmly 4th in the top 5 best-selling home consoles of all time, alongside the PlayStation 2 and the original PlayStation, which still enjoy their first and second place spots respectively, as well as the PlayStation 3 now in 5th. The PS4 has enjoyed some heavy hitters when it comes to its exclusive games, with instant classics like Bloodborne, anticipated sequels like Uncharted 4 and Infamous Second Son, and surprise hits like Horizon Zero Dawn and
Neck 2, baby! Oh!
Designers often spend time considering a character's outfit, not just to reference previous adventures and tie things together, but also to show a story in itself. With Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, Drake's costume designer aimed to make several outfits specifically to make him not stand out. This was to make sure that Drake's outfits wouldn't distract from the performance of his motion actor's facial animations, and give the sense that Drake was an experienced character who has been adventuring for some time. Another game with focus in its outfits is God of War. Despite the game's change in style from previous God of Wars, this iteration is still a direct sequel, and the developers made sure to let the players know, sometimes in more subtle ways. A conscious effort was made to keep visual references from earlier God of War titles, such as Kratos wearing his Terragus seen in previous adventures. There's also another callback to previous games in the franchise. By looking at Atreus' clothing, a red sash can be seen wrapped around his waist. Based on the pattern featured on the apparel, it's clear that this is Kratos' old loincloth from early God of War games. With the wild popularity of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, references to the franchise are everywhere, and God of War is no exception. One of the most clear references is in the Shattered Gauntlet of Ages talisman. As with other items, this talisman can be upgraded. Once it's fully upgraded, it can be fitted with 3 enchantments. There are 6 enchantments in the game which reference the 6 Infinity Stones of Thanos' Gauntlet. When any 3 of these enchantments are placed into the gauntlet, the power granted by the gauntlet is upgraded from an energy blast to firing projectiles. Another possible reference to the MCU can be found within the game, but this one contains end-of-game spoilers, so if you don't want to know, skip to the time shown on screen. I'll give you a second. After defeating the 2 trolls of Tyr's Vault, Grendel of Frost and Grendel of Ashes, which in itself is undoubtedly a reference to the Old English poem Beowulf, Atreus quips,
"Puny troll."
This could be a reference to Marvel's Avengers, in which the Incredible Hulk pounds Loki into the ground and follows it up with the line, "Puny god." While it could be merely coincidence, the idea of this being intentional is reinforced when it is revealed at the end of the game that Atreus actually is Loki. Horizon Zero Dawn released to rave reviews and was the 3rd best-selling PlayStation 4 game in 2017. This was in part due to Guerrilla Games' proprietary game engine, Decima, originally created for Killzone Shadowfall and then adapted for Horizon. After its creation in 2013, the engine remained nameless, being referred to as only the engine. This was until Hideo Kojima parted ways with Konami and had to leave his Fox engine behind. With Kojima in search of new tech, and with Guerrilla Games besotted by the works of the famous developer, the Dutch devs offered to provide him with their engine. In honor of the companies working together, they dubbed the engine Decima after Dejima Island. This is an island known for its trading post that created a strong bond between the Netherlands and Japan, being the only foreign country allowed to trade with Japan in the 17th century. In January of 2019, Kojima even travelled to Amsterdam to pay his partners a visit and show them what he'd done with their engine in person for his upcoming game, Death Stranding. Horizon director Matthias de Jonge said that the demo left him speechless. To continue the homage to Kojima and his production company, Guerrilla included a number of Easter eggs in tribute to Death Stranding throughout Horizon. Amongst the huge number of collectibles throughout the game, the player is able to find a number of stranded items. The 3 collectibles are the Stranded Necklace, which is a clear reference to the necklace donned by Norman Reedus in the first teaser for Death Stranding. The shackles from this teaser also appear in Horizon as the Stranded Shackles. Lastly, the Stranded figure, a small baby doll, is virtually identical to one seen in Death Stranding's second trailer. Not only this, but the icon for these collectibles is a silhouette of Kojima Productions' logo. Horizon Zero Dawn also contains some sly Easter eggs from titles from Guerrilla's past. A particularly sneaky reference can be found by climbing to the top of the Devil's Grief vantage point. When looking towards the stadium and using the focus scan, it's possible to get a glimpse of the stadium in all its former glory. On closer inspection, the player is able to see the logo of Riggs Mechanized Combat League. Throughout the game, the player can also find numerous collectibles known as Ancient Vessels. The old mugs show logos of various fictitious companies from within the game world. However, one of them has a familiar visage. The KZ vessel clearly features the face of a Helghast soldier from Killzone. In fact, it seems identical to the image from the Killzone 3 box art. While we're on the topic of Killzone and Horizon Zero Dawn, Killzone Shadowfall, one of the launch titles for the PS4, actually contains a reference to Horizon despite being released a full 4 years earlier. The Easter egg is a small hologram of what appears to be a corruptor from Horizon. Twitter user Jake SNL posted the find online, and the game's director responded confirming the Easter egg, saying, "Well spotted, Robot did undergo some changes though." Game developers can face a wide array of struggles during production, but for Judgment, Ryuga Studio's problems came after the game had hit store shelves in Japan. Sales of the title were halted, and the game was recalled in early 2019 after it was revealed that the famed musician and the game's primary antagonist, Pierre Taki, was caught up in a scandal. Investigators searched Taki's car as well as his Tokyo home after receiving a tip-off. The authorities were in search of cocaine, and although they were unable to find the substance in Taki's possession, he was made to take a urine test, which came back positive for the drug. The actor admitted to breaking the country's drug laws and taking a small amount of cocaine. After this news broke, Sega, Judgment's publisher, issued a statement informing the public that the game would be removed from digital storefronts and physical sales would be halted. The company also removed all mentions of the game from their official Twitter account. This wasn't the first time that Sega hit issues like this. Hiroki Norimiya was also removed from the earlier released Yakuza 4 after he too was wrapped up in allegations of cocaine use. Taki's scandal has further reaching ramifications in Japan besides Judgment, as he also provides the Japanese voice for Olaf in Frozen. Panic ensued within Disney Japan, who also halted sales of home video releases of Frozen and had his voice replaced in a patch for Kingdom Hearts 3. With Judgment, the team made the decision to replace the actor within the hour of light being shed on the allegations. This was the first time the team were made aware of the situation as well. The game, which was already going through localization for the Western market, had a lot more work set out for them, with the team replacing not just the character's voice, but also his entire character model, it having been previously based on performance capture of Taki, including pre-rendered cutscenes. The character ended up having an entirely original design instead, and was revoiced for Japanese audiences by Kirohe Hamura. As a result of the team's fast work on replacing the actor, these alterations didn't necessitate a delay for the international release. And now it's time for this episode's random piece of trivia. Today we'll be taking a look at The Sims 2, or rather a review of it from Steve Hoggerty written for PC Zone magazine. This review, written for an expansion pack of H&M themed clothes, was so scathing that it resulted in somebody from EA getting personally involved, not just blacklisting Hoggerty, but also attempting to have him fired. His brief review is as follows. Here's what I think happened but did not happen at a recent party when one man in a suit met another man in a suit next to a punch bowl filled with molten diamonds. One man said his job was, for want of a better description, to pump out awful money-sponging updates for The Sims 2. The other man said his job was, for want of a better description, to generate soul-destroying advertising deals for a clothing company. They both sighed at this point and looked into one another's vacant eyes. Words weren't needed. This content pack was created then. "Harold, what's wrong?" a wife would later ask her bedraggled husband. "This one's really bad, Sarah," he would admit. "It's 60 sodding outfits from H&M, and we're charging £10 for it." "People will still buy it," she insisted. Harold raised his hand and struck his wife hard across the face, spilling his scotch on the carpet they'd bought with that devil money. He knew she was right, but he hated what they had both become. He hadn't sailed in 7 years. Maybe he should go sailing again. Those were the last random thoughts his suffering brain delivered to him as the rope tightened around his neck. How cruel. His frantic kicking relaxed. He was sailing now. This content pack really is unmitigated bum. The final nail in the coffin was the provided review score of 5 out of 100. The following year, EA published another expansion for The Sims 2, this time providing a variety of IKEA-themed items. Hoggerty wrote another review, being told to simply just stick to the facts. This review started with, "This is a content pack for the video game series The Sims 2. In it, you'll find the following." Hoggerty then simply listed the items included in the expansion, followed by, "I have considered the benefits and cost of this pack and settled on a representative numerical value." That's all for today, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm still laughing about that review. It's a good one. We appreciate you all watching. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. That's all I got to say about that. How was that reading of the review for you? I had fun doing it. I think I'm going to start recording audiobooks. Promise I only read porn. No, don't leave that in. Cut it out. I read more than that. I'm cultured. I'm a cultured fellow.